Hello, this is Matt Montgomery, Sales Agronomist with Burris. Today we're going to talk about large beans and planter calibration. But to do that, we need you to read over this disclaimer. We're going to present information on planter calibration, but we need to note that this information does not replace what's in your operator's manual. The operator's manual has the final word on what you need to do when it comes to calibrating a planter. Okay, let's get started. 2012 was incredibly dry, as can be seen on this map of central Illinois rainfall. We started the season well below the mean for rainfall. We recovered a little in late May, and we fell a couple inches behind each month into July. But August of 2012 surprised lots of growers. As can be seen on this map of central Illinois rainfall, we received quite a bit of rain in some parts of the Burris footprint, 2 to 4 inches in some parts of Illinois. Now, unfortunately, that did not happen over in the western part of the Burris footprint. But some rain came to the Midwest, some surprising rainfall, impressive rainfall, and in some cases, growers were surprised by bean yields at harvest. Now, the fact that bean yields were sometimes salvaged was great news for growers, but soybean yields were salvaged in 2012 not because more beans were added to the plant, but because the size of beans increased dramatically. Yield improved because the water needs of soybean plants improved, and they were thus able to pack more stuff into beans that were already there. In other words, we wound up with some really big soybean seed. Now, that same scenario played out in seed bean production fields, and because of that, it will not be uncommon for growers to encounter some pretty big seed in 2013. Now, how big, though? Well, in 2013, industry-wide, it will not be uncommon to encounter seed sizes between 2,300 and 2,500 seeds per pound. Now, that's getting pretty big. What does that mean, though? Well, large beans mean that planting beans in 2013 will require a little more attention to planter calibration, and the type of attention depends upon the type of planter being used. To make life a little simpler, Burris has put together a planting guide. And while it doesn't serve as a replacement for your operator's manual, and while what we cover here does not either, that manual, that reference, can be a great first step in managing large beans. So let's break it down just a little bit. Let's talk about the two different types of planters. Let's talk about finger pickup type planters and vacuum planters. And let's start with those finger pickup type planters. We'll talk about, for instance, Kinseys or John Deere's. Now, for a Kinsey finger pickup type planter, you typically use the plate on the left-hand side of your screen, a black brush type 60 cell seed metering plate. Now, when seed gets below about maybe 2,500, you need to switch over to what's on the right, a blue brush type 48 cell seed metering plate. Now, for a John Deere, you may be changing the plates as well if they're being used, or you may be switching settings on the radial bean metering plate. A quick review of the operator's manual should note that changing the setting to C will work best for larger seed. So again, we talked about Kinsey, we talked about John Deere finger pickup type planters. And we said you need to change on the Kinsey over to the blue plate. On a John Deere, if you're using those Kinsey plates, you change over to the blue plates as well. If you're not on that finger pickup type planter, you're switching over to a C setting. Now let's move over and talk just a little bit about those vac planters. Hey, what about a vac planter? Well, for the most part, settings do not change on a vac planter. Pressure settings stay just about the same. A John Deere vac might be an exception. Larger seed might require a vac setting of 9 as opposed to the normal setting of 8. Case IH planters may require different discs, but lots of other things stay about the same. The take-home message for most vac planters, things stay about the same. Remember though, regardless of the type of planter being used, if you're talking about finger pickup or vac type planters, you got to follow those talc and graphite recommendations. They are critically important to keeping the flow up. One other sticking point can be population. Now for some planters, especially the finger pickup type planters that require a change in plates or a change in setting on the bean metering plate, a reduction in the plant population is going to occur. Now growers will want to double check their population and adjust accordingly in the field, but growers may want to also take the opportunity to conduct a little on-farm research while adjusting populations. Larger bean seeds, the larger bean seed dilemma, and the adjustments in population that are likely going to have to occur may give growers a chance to test out reduced plant populations when using Burris's Powershield seed treatment. Now Powershield, let me flip over to the next slide here. You can see the Powershield logo there. Now, Powershield's a pretty good insecticide-fungicide seed treatment combination, pretty powerful insecticide-fungicide seed treatment combination. And our data indicates that growers may be able to decrease their plant populations by 10 to maybe 15% when using this technology. So maybe you're able to reduce the populations 10 or 15%, but what we would encourage you to do is take the opportunity to see if our data matches your experience in 2013. Plant some strips or blocks with lower populations and plant some at your normal population. Take the calibration opportunity provided by larger bean seed in 2013 to see if you can reduce populations and save some money in future growing seasons. Now don't drop it back below about that 120,000 mark, but take this opportunity to learn something. We thank you for watching.